I've covered my garden with wood chips, and now I have mushrooms everywhere, even in my greenhouse. Is this a problem?
No, it's a fungus, and it's just saying this is a healthy place to live, and we're moving in. If you don't like them, just pull them up, lay them on top of the ground, they'll break down and turn back to compost.
Could you name each type of apple and other fruit trees you have, and which ones are your favorites?
I'm sure I can't name them all, but I can tell you my favorites.
Okay.
You know, for summer apple, the Gravenstein is superior. It doesn't have a long shelf life, but the flavor is just over the top. It's got the sweet and tart. For winter keeper, the best apple there is Honeycrisp. It stores in my cooler for the whole year. You know, the Akani is just an amazing sweet apple, and if you want aroma, put one in your house. Your whole house just smells like apples. It's just really great. Liberty is just a crisp, delicious, awesome apple. You know, Spartan, nice hard crisp apple. A nice keeper is Melrose. It's a red one, and it keeps quite well. Another good keeper is Mutsu. It's a big yellow, and it's like Mutsu has had it. My son, this is Aaron, when he's like probably a teenager, out in the orchard picking apples, and we've been doing it all summer, you know, in fall, and we got these Mutsus. He ate one, and it looked like he had never had an apple before. He says, "Man, can you believe this? It's like this crisp, sweet, like juicy. It's like over the top, amazing apple." And so,
my favorite is Sweet 16.
Sweet 16 is amazing, you know. And I have this one from Japan. I can't pronounce it. Tsugura. That's very unique, very awesome. And really, all of them, you know, like Bonnie's favorite, you know, is really. They all have wonderful qualities that I can't even begin to describe all of them because I can't remember them all at this point. But one thing everybody knows when they come here, that all my apples taste different, and they're all really good. I haven't had anybody say, "Well, I don't want to eat that one." And so they're all good.
Do you have a...
Page 78 has them all.
Page 78 of Growing Food God's Way has a list of all the apples. And all maybe pears and everything else?
Not pears, just apples.
Okay. What about vegetables? Does it have a list there too?
We have a list of both your spring planting of vegetables and your winter planting.
Well, there you go, guys. Get the book.
The book.
Well, this says, I would like to know more about the varieties of plants he grows, in particular his favorite varieties of beets, carrots, tomatoes, cucumbers, and if he had to pick his 3 favorite leafy green veggies, what would they be?
Well, starting with the back first, green leafy vegetables are romaine lettuce, that Jericho variety, cilantro, and spinach. Or kale. Kale would be
I was going to say kale.
Kale would be the first. I miss kale. Kale would be the first. Then what was the next group?
We have, what's your favorite cucumber?
Cucumber is one I'm getting from Israel. I don't know its name, but it's one they grow in Israel, and it's a smaller one, but it's just really great. And Fedco had it for 1 year. It's called I guess they label it as a Middle Eastern one. They don't carry it anymore, but now I'm collecting my own seed because it's just the best.
Okay. Favorite type of beet?
My favorite red beet is Lutz, and I love the golden beet. The golden beet is like, you can eat it raw. It's just over the top sweet. It's the best.
Your favorite carrot?
Carrot is Nantes. I like the Nantes.
Nantes?
Nantes.
Okay. And favorite tomato?
Tomato is the one I have out there. It's a gold. What's the name of that? Honey. No.
The sweet little round ones.
Yes, it's what's the name of that one? It's the guy he just mentioned it today. Anyway, it's a gold. It's not yellow. It's more of a gold type. Small. See where I live.
Cherry tomato. Small.
Cherry tomato, because where I live, it's not warm enough to get big ones. Oh shoot. Sorry.
Okay. And what about your favorite? Wait, did we already do cucumber?
Yeah.
Your favorite? Okay.
It's a Middle Eastern one.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Do you ever lose your apples to frost or freeze or do you protect them somehow?
No, frost or freeze is my greatest asset, and I'm really concerned this year I'm not going to get it because my trees are ripening too early. When it freezes, the sugar content comes up huge. And it makes them so good. So I love to leave my trees on through frost. It's the best thing in the world for them.
What about a late frost? Like a lot of the orchards and stuff are having problems because last winter over in eastern Washington, it was really cold, and then we had like a week where it got really warm, and then boom, a frost. And then it got warm again for a week, and boom, a frost. And all the buds were already out. It was all the trees, and I mean, everything that we had was already flowering. And then that first frost came, the second frost came, and we had no apples, no cherries, no nothing this year.
Well, I'm talking about a fall, winter frost is a real advantage. Now, the spring one is a very serious detriment because it'll kill your...
But would you do anything for a spring frost to protect your trees? Cover them, net them? Okay.
You know, in California, they use smudge pots on the orchards of avocados and citrus because they can't let it freeze, and so they have these big smudge pots and they're burning oil to get the air temperature up. But I couldn't ever go there.
Okay. How many square feet per bird is Paul's chicken yard?
I have no idea because my number of birds vary all the time. And I don't know what the square foot is of the whole thing, but it's... What do you think, like that width is probably like 30?
I walked it one time in a video.
I think the width might be 30 and the length maybe 35. You know.
Well, I want to say that pole that goes down to the next one was about 8 foot.
8 feet, yeah.
And then we walked it, and I made sure that in the shot was all the poles so somebody could do the math one day and figure it out. So I guess somebody's going to have to watch that video, do the math, figure it out, put it in the comments for this one.
4 poles would be 32 feet.
Yeah, so I want to say it's about 30-ish.
30-ish, 30 to 40. You know,
something like that.
Because it actually gets wider as it gets longer.
Right. Speaking of the chicken coop, that fig tree is really doing well. I mean, I remember when it was...
Yeah, I got tons of figs this year.
I remember when it was tiny, and it was getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and now it's thick. Oh.
Yeah, it's awesome how that stuff grows, huh?
And it was just kind of an accident that it was there?
Well, I stuck it there because I just wanted one, and I wanted to create shade for my chickens, a nice place for them to hang out because it gets hot here. You know, willow tree's working great for shade, you know, so it's just, why not, you know? It's a good, rich space, I might as well use it, you know,
right.
Good ground.
Dear Paul, this year my father sent a mockingbird to my garden, and every day it was a race to see who would get the ripe fruit first. I would share, but I swear that bird and I were thinking the same thoughts. Has your father played any tricks other than the first time when you discovered wood chips and threw out your tiller? I use the word tricks lovingly as my father has a sense of humor when he's trying to teach us something.
Well, I find with birds, they get a lot of my fruit, but because I have such an abundance, there's plenty for both of us. You know, and again, the word says that he feeds the birds. He provides for them, and so I see how he does it, and I'm just part of that.
Ask Paul what day of the week does he believe the Sabbath is?
Well, the Sabbath is Saturday. I mean, it's the seventh day. Mm-hmm. And God doesn't change. And for the next 1,000 years, all of us will be keeping the Sabbath.
How much land should a 4-person family have to live a self-sufficient life, according to Paul?
You know, I don't know about space because so much has to do with location and lighting and all, but what I'm amazed is as long as I'm doing this, how little space I need to grow an incredible abundance, because when you have nutrient-rich ground, you don't need a lot of space. So these kind of things I just would encourage people to pray and ask God, because he knows them, he knows what their needs are, and so he's very helpful. So I just pray, God, what size space, and then you lead us to that place.
Now, something that I think I heard you say earlier today when you were talking about how big the property is, like over 5 acres, right?
5.3 acres.
5.3, and half of that is the woods and you know the grass and the house and the pasture and stuff. But I think I heard you say that the planted area, including the orchard, is half an acre?
Yes.
So that feeds your family
Oh, it feeds
and tours
tons of people.
and
All my wife's clients.
your wife's clients.
My neighbors come here every day. I can't even begin to put the numbers.
So half an acre's
Huge.
enough,
A lot.
at least here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay. If you were to buy raw land, say like what you have out here, just the forest, you wanted to put a house on it, clear a spot for a garden, that kind of stuff, would you cut the trees as close to the ground as possible and then pile with wood chips, or would you remove the stumps? Well, would the type of tree make a difference on what you would do?
It would make a difference if they're deciduous trees. I'd first of all cut everything flat to the ground and cover with wood chips, because it's really destructive to the ground to be ripping out stumps. And the stumps will all rot and become soil over time. If they're conifers, just cut the stumps, they're gone. If they're deciduous trees, they're going to grow back. And so what I would do, on the cambium layer, that's the layer right below the bark, I go around with salt and diesel fuel. Not very much, just enough to cover that space, and that will kill those stumps.
Really? Okay.
The diesel fuel will carries it into, it'll cause it to penetrate. And if you look at beaches, nothing grows there.
Just a little salt.
Salt, it's pretty. And again, it's not toxic. It's not going to, eventually it's going to leach out and be gone. It's not going to
Sure.
do damage to the soil.